Timeout is brought to you by Coach B's Driving School at CoachB'sDrivingSchool.com. Also by Randy's Auto Body, the Hillsdale Travel Center, and the Jack Smith Agency. Tim Dezelski is in studio. He is a senior at Hillsdale College. Tim, how are you?
I'm good, Andy. How are you?
I'm doing great. Now, what do you have for dinner tonight?
I actually haven't had dinner yet.
Where do you eat? I mean, what does Tim Dezelski have for dinner every single night?
I just eat at the school cafeteria.
So you go to Saga.
Yeah.
Do you eat cereal? Do you get the entree that they have?
Yeah, I usually just give us what they put out on the main line. Maybe slip a burger in there every once in a while.
I was thinking about this the other day when we were talking about doing this interview. You probably burn 10, 15 times more calories than the normal human. I mean, you've got to eat a lot of food, right?
I do eat a lot.
So do you get, what, 5, 6, 7 entrees?
No, I probably limit it to about 3.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite Saga entree that they feature up there?
I like anything with gravy, pretty much. Mashed potatoes and gravy. They have a turkey dinner I like, and also a roast beef. I'm a big gravy guy.
So slather gravy on just about anything.
Yeah.
Do you ever just do, because when I was at Hillsdale College, a lot of the time, the entrees were great, but sometimes I just pound like 2, 3 bowls of cereal. You guys ever do that, or?
I'm not much of a cereal guy. I only like Lucky Charms.
Do they have that there?
Probably once every couple of weeks, so I'm sure to get it when they have it out.
Okay. Not a big cereal guy.
No.
Are you allowed to eat whatever you want? Does the team have you on a specific diet, or are you kind of on your own to eat what you want?
We don't have a team diet plan, but we're all encouraged to watch our weight. Obviously, we weigh in every once in a while to make sure that we're staying at our. We all have a target playing weight that we're supposed to keep at.
So you don't have to be on nutrition solutions every single day or anything.
But I do get nutrition solutions on game days for lunch. So.
You'd be crazy not to.
Yeah, exactly.
I know a lot of athletes up there love it.
A lot of our team does as well.
You're supposed to stay away from probably like a lot of fast food and pop and that kind of thing. Yeah. Are you guys able to do that, or just?
Yeah, but no fast food. Limit fast food. No pop. I don't drink much pop. Nobody does.
So what do you do when you're out on the road? You're traveling to Michigan Tech. You're traveling to Marquette. Whatever the case may be. Obviously, you're out on the road at that point. What do you do to eat when you're out on the road?
A lot of times before we leave, we get an Oakley sub. We each get an Oakley sub for the bus ride because we got some big guys, so we're going to be hungry a lot. So we get that to tide us over for a couple hours, and then we usually, a lot of times we like to stop at Applebee's or a place like that.
And is that per diem? I mean, are you covered there for your meal?
Yes.
And can you order whatever you want?
Well, not whatever you want. We got to keep it reasonable.
You can't order the 18-ounce sirloin or anything like that.
We're not quite on the Kentucky basketball budget.
But what about Pete? Does he get to order whatever he wants, or is
coaches? Yeah, coaches. Coaches in general pretty much get what they want.
Are those road trips the worst? I mean, you guys take some really long trips. A couple of weeks ago, you had a game at Grand Valley. 2 days later, you got a game at Big Rapids.
Yeah.
A lot of time on the bus. Do you enjoy the trips, or is it really kind of tedious for you?
I personally love the trips, and I think most of the guys do. It's a great time to get away from everybody and just a lot of team bonding, hang out with your. We're best friends on our team. So, and I love hotel beds, so I'm not complaining about that.
You like the hotel bed better than your hotel at the school?
Yes, I do.
Your bed at your school?
Yeah.
Wow, we're learning a lot about Tim Dezelski today. That's good stuff. Tim, what about basketball for you? When do you, let's take it all the way back. When did you really get into the sport as a kid?
I've been playing it since I can remember. And I played all the sports, but basketball was always my favorite. I played baseball and football growing up too, but I kind of always knew that basketball was going to be the one I would like to play at the next level. And then in high school, as a sophomore, I stopped playing football to focus on basketball and baseball.
So you knew pretty early on in high school that probably your best bet was basketball, and that was the sport you had the most passion for.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about your high school basketball career. What were some of the highs for you in high school?
Well, when I was a senior, I was a captain on our team that won a region. And that was the first regional championship we'd had in about, at least 20 years. Because when I was a sophomore, we were 3-18. We had just got a new coach. And then, so it was good to progress. We went from 3-18 to 500. And then my senior year, we were, I think, 20-5 or something like that and won our region. So that was a pretty big accomplishment for us.
And so the recruiting process starts. You and I have talked about this before, but just for the folks tuning in, we're talking with Tim Dezelski, 3-time consecutive GLIAC Player of the Week for the Hillsdale College Chargers. They play tomorrow night at Hillsdale College at 8 o'clock against Tiffin. and we'll have that ball game for you right here on WCSR. You get into the point where you've got to choose a college. Obviously, you're getting recruited by some schools. What did it come down to for you to make the choice to come to Hillsdale?
I actually wasn't very highly recruited out of high school. I was planning on going to a couple of different D3 schools, Hope and Albion, and then those fell through, and I started visiting a couple GLIAC schools. I visited Hillsdale, Northwood, and Saginaw Valley. And I knew I wanted to play basketball, and I'd walk on positions at all those schools. And I knew Hillsdale had a great academic reputation. I had known people who graduated here from in the past who loved it, and they were big in helping me decide to come here.
So you came to Hillsdale as a walk-on
Yep.
your freshman year.
Yep.
I remember your freshman year, you and Tony Nelson coming in. I remember you two in particular as freshmen. And hearing that, yeah, we kind of like this Dezelski kid, but I never got the feeling that they thought they had the next superstar coming on campus. They liked you as a solid young player.
Yeah.
But even as your freshman year started to unfold, you were seeing some important minutes on the team even as a freshman, weren't you?
Well, my redshirt freshman year really helped me. I
Right.
got to go against Brad Ganane every day,
Oh, yeah.
American. So I learned a lot from a lot of those guys. Brent Eden, Joe Caruso, Nick Miner, those guys, they helped me so much, and the coaches were really instrumental too in developing me as a player, and that really helped me. So when I stepped on the court my second year, which was actually my freshman year, I felt like I was ready to go.
And what about that first year playing at Hillsdale College? You cracked the lineup pretty quickly.
Yep.
Were you coming off the bench that first year?
Yeah, my first 2 years I was six-man type, playing 20 minutes a game. So I was just I looked at myself as a role player, trying to help the team win any way you can.
I feel like you still do that.
Yeah,
I
mean, I tried to, yeah.
I feel like you're averaging, 25 points a game, almost 18, 19 rebounds a game for the Chargers this year, right?
Might be a little high there. I'm just 9 rebounds a game.
I'm thinking of Megan Fote's numbers.
Yeah. She's averaging 16. I'm working on catching up to her.
You keep working.
Yeah.
But you have crazy big numbers. But I feel like if Coach Stark needed you to do more rebounding and less scoring, you'd be fine with that.
Yeah, totally. I'm a big believer in guys knowing their roles, and whatever it takes to win the game is what you got to do.
And for your team especially, Coach Stark talks about this all the time. His system does not necessarily produce guys with huge scoring averages. You're not always going to have, in this motion offense with so many different options, you're not always going to have a guy that scores up to around 30 points a game. So the fact that you have somebody this year doing that is pretty exciting, but it's not always going to work out that way. And you guys, it seems like when I talk to you guys, you're fine with that. It seems like an unselfish group of guys playing basketball for Hillsdale College.
I think what you just said is huge into why I do score. I do put up some big numbers sometimes because everyone on the floor is dangerous, and we don't run play specifically for me. And I got great shooters around me: Anthony Mano, Tony Nelson, Pritzel, Derek Shell. All those guys can knock down shots. So it's hard to just key on one person because we don't run our offense like that.
The rest of the guys on the team get any run with the girls having to be around Anthony Mano all the time?
Oh yeah, he's always the attention drawer, but
he's a great-looking guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he just really is. And he's also, by the way, a really nice kid.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Whenever I used to take Owen up to the gym all the time, he'd be out there shooting. He would stop. He didn't know me at the time.
Yep.
He'd come over and want to talk to Owen and encourage him and all the rest of it. And it seems like that way with all of you guys. You're very approachable. When you walk around campus, you're probably not sticking your nose up in the air.
Nope.
You're probably going to class.
Yes, I always go to class.
You're probably not having people going to class for you. I mean, it is a little different, I think, at Hillsdale, isn't it?
Yeah, we have a lot of guys who love to focus in the classroom, and we just like to, we're friendly with everybody on campus, and we try and encourage them to come to our games, and we feel that one of the best ways to do that, is to get involved in the community and with everyone at school.
Let's talk about Nick Washburn, because you played with him for, 3 years?
4 years.
About 3. He was a big guy in the middle of that lineup, and when you started with him, kind of the big guy, and then you next to him as like a 4-position player last year.
Yeah.
What was it like to play with the big guy, Nick Washburn?
It was great. Sometimes, we'd be struggling offensively, just throw it into him and let him go to work. He's really skilled. And he was a great guy to play with, and he just cleaned up the boards too. So with him gone, me and Tony Nelson and Kyle Cooper come up, and now we all got to focus more on rebounding, because before we could kind of trust him that that he would get the big rebound.
It was funny. It must have been your sophomore year. He would come out, you would be on the bench. he would get a foul in like 30 seconds, and then you would come out and play for 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Because he would get into some early foul trouble, and you had to be ready. Even though you started the game on the bench, you were coming in sometimes before the first minute was up.
Yeah. Wash, I felt like Wash had a little bit of an unlucky reputation.
Right.
So referees kind of keyed on him early, and he would get some bad luck with some of those fouls.
What about practice with him? I mean, I bet you guys had some epic battles at practice.
Epic battles. He's famous for throwing elbows, too. I caught quite a few of those. And after my sophomore year, I started wearing a mouth guard, and I was lucky to be wearing that because he'd throw some mean elbows.
I bet he quit throwing that right elbow after that surgery that he had on it and all the rest of it. He ended up getting a staph infection in his elbow and all kinds of trouble. Did you play with Gerber?
I did play with Tyler Gerber.
What a great leader he must have been.
He was just a flat-out warrior. Anything you needed to do, anything we needed him to do, you'd do it. Guard the best player.
And Brad Ganane, you remind me a little bit of Brad because both of you are pretty low-key guys. You're not out there, My son, when he plays his tournaments, he wants to do the thing where he puts the three over his eye, like LeBron or Dwayne Wade or one of those guys. You and Ganane don't really seem like you're wired like that. You just go and do your job. Not that you're not passionate about it, you are.
I throw up a little.
Yeah, but you're not out there trying to draw attention to yourself.
Right. Yeah, Brad. He's the kind of guy who just get his job done, and everyone would know it, but he wouldn't have to.
He was really good.
He was really good.
I don't know that everybody appreciated how good he really was.
That team was really good too, and so he might not have had monster numbers, but he was a very good player.
What about Coach Tharp? That staff, obviously, with Coach Tharp and Pistol, and now Coach Lacer and Coach Evans going down to Ohio Dominican VOC on Saturday.
Yep.
But for you to have kind of the same core group of guys all 5 years during your basketball experience, what has it been like to play for those guys?
It's great. They're all great people. You can always go and talk to them after practice, hang out with them. I'm going to play euchre at Coach Tharp's tonight, actually. And like you said, even our new assistants, they grew up in the program too. So it's nice to have consistency. They're all, believers in the same thing, same system, and that's just really great to have as a player.
I think Coach Tharp's a hard guy to get your finger on because when you meet him on the street, he does not look intimidating.
No.
He seems really friendly, just like the nicest guy that you'd ever talk to. But
you can get there quickly.
Man, is he intense.
Yeah.
I mean, he wants to win, and he holds his players to account. And I remember when they hired him, I didn't know about that. When I met him, I was like, is this guy tough enough to coach at this level? Oh, boy, he is.
Yeah, once, like you said, he's super friendly and bubbly. Once that ball gets tipped, it's all about winning.
He's passionate about it, and your team is so well prepared. It just feels like every single game, even sometimes at halftime, and you didn't have a great first half, I thought, against Saginaw on Saturday. They went off on like a 23-2 run in the first half. You guys are on your heels a little bit. You come out in the second half, and it just felt like there was a different energy. I don't know what kind of detail you can give us about the halftime, but talk about that situation when it's not going well in the first half. How do you turn it around going into the second?
Yeah, well, we have a veteran group of guys, and we preach, 40 minutes basketball game. Yeah, they went on a 22-0 run, but we know the way we play, the style we play, we're going to wear you down over time, and Coach Tharp just preaches that. We had to play a little tougher the second half than the first half, but we're just keeping wearing them down. They're gonna pressure us. That's what they're doing, and we're turning over. But it's hard to keep that up for 40 minutes against the style that we play.
I think it's interesting you mentioned the press game because I wanted to ask you about that. When your team gets pressed, Tim Dezelski, you're big on this team. You're in the backcourt bringing the ball up the floor. That's part of your press break. Do you like the fact that you're that versatile where you can camp up, underneath the basket, but also help bring the ball across?
Yeah, whatever it takes to help the team win. I don't have many moves, but I just like to put my shoulder.
But you don't turn the ball over.
No, I just.
And that's the key, to bringing the ball across. And as far as when you guys get that motion offense running, when it's humming and you're getting the ball in stride and laying up uncontested layups, it's got to be a great feeling.
It is a great feeling. Just that kind of makes it worth it all because and we have other players comment to us how tired they are trying to guard it, and then they slip up one time, boom, it's a layup.
So you cheat at euchre. You cheat at euchre.
I like to.
Your coach told me that you cheat at euchre. Tim Dezelski, let me ask you the question. Do you cheat at euchre?
I do not cheat at euchre.
You play it straight by the rules.
Play by the book, get the win.
Play by the book and get the win. I'm going to take you at your word at that. Tim Dezelski does not cheat at euchre, regardless of what his coach says. Tim Dezelski plays a clean game of euchre. You look at the season this year, you mentioned 25 points a game, just about 10 rebounds a game, 3 consecutive GLIAC Player of the Week awards, and editorially to the GLIAC. The fact that they are actually awarding the correct person that award instead of saying, it's been 2 in a row, we should spread it around. But to give it to the right person, regardless of who it is every single week, I happen to like that. I wondered if they'd give it to you the 3rd time. You know what I mean?
I was a little curious, too.
Would they give it to you the 3rd? But they did.
Yeah.
You're having a monster season. Your team's won 7 in a row. You're putting up big-time numbers. You're getting all of the accolades and the awards. Has it been even better than you would have expected?
Yeah, I'm not sure I expected quite this production. But, it comes down to winning games. And we're trying to win our league and make that one of our goals is to make the NCAA tournament. So whatever I have to do to make that happen.
And when you guys, it was a little bit of a weird start because you lost a couple of GLIAC road games early on, and Coach Tharp told me point blank, we need to get back to remembering how hard it was to get where we were getting to.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy. Every team that you play is going to bring a special challenge, and it's hard work. As good as your system is and as good a shape you guys are in, these games are grinds in the GLIAC conference, and Coach just talks about the work that you have to be willing to put out there. And you've had some adversity this year. You haven't had Darius has not been available to you the whole time. Mano is playing. I don't know what percentage he's at right now, but
not 100.
Not 100%. You've had some injury issues like everybody else has, and yet you're continuing to find a way to get some wins. Does that just talk about the next man up theory, like, whoever has to step up is going to step up?
Yeah, we have a lot of faith in our entire team. We have a lot of talented guys coming off the bench, guys like Garrett Jones, Jason Spencer, Lucas Gross, Brett Smith, all those guys. Zach Miller, great help coming in, and we know that even when we have to plug those guys in, they're gonna do their job.
I think Zach Miller is an interesting guy. I think Derek is real solid as a starting point guard, and he hit the 3 big threes the other night to start the game. But when you have Miller out there, it brings maybe even a little bit of a different element with his playmaking ability and the way that he sees the floor, right?
Yeah, he's great at pick and roll is one of his specialties. He's great at finding us big to roll into the basket, and he gets a lot of guys open.
I would not want to collide with any of you guys, but especially Garrett.
Yeah,
he looks like a fullback out there.
He's a pretty big guy.
He's a big guy.
Yeah, but he's done a great job of getting back in shape because last year he took a year off.
Right.
He's done a great job of getting back in shape. We like to poke fun at him, but in all seriousness, he's in really good shape right now, and we're going to need him.
What about your conditioning? I mean, in the 2 games last week, you played 77 of a possible 80 minutes.
Yeah.
So you're getting just a little bit of time, around immediate timeout, and then you're coming right back in there. Do you feel like you're still fresh and that you still have fresh legs, or do you already feel a little worn down?
Yeah, no, I feel fine right now. Coming into the season, is a little bit expected that I was going to play a lot of minutes, senior. So I was preparing for my preseason workouts. We're preparing for that, so I feel good to go.
Practice time rolls around. Do you look forward to it? Do you kind of dread it? Honestly, is it hard to get ready for an intense practice?
Honestly, no. I love practice. I think everybody does. We love going at each other. It's just a lot of fun, a lot of intensity, competition.
I asked this of all the college athletes. I went through Hillsdale College, but I didn't play sports. I had a lot more time available than you guys do.
Yeah.
The commitment to both of those things is intense. Now, you've had 5 years to get through it all. Is that something that you guys work through together, too, is just staying on top of each other from a schoolwork standpoint?
Yeah, particularly with, the younger guys coming in or transfers at schools where you didn't really have to focus on academics that much, where, we're always there to help out. Whatever they need, we just stress to them that it's a lot of time management.
New arena, they flipped it. It's going the different direction now. You got the new bleachers last week. What's your take on the new arena?
We love it so far. The new floor is great. That's the biggest thing for us is playing on the new floor. And those bleachers help a lot, too. It was a little awkward before those were put in when it was just the big open space. So we like that, and we heard it's going to get even better, too, next year. So that's exciting.
So you come back and check it out next year?
I definitely will.
You don't even think about that yet, do you?
No. I'm not.
Too much unfinished business left.
Yeah. We got a lot of wins to take care of.
A whole lot of wins, starting with tomorrow night against Tiffin. We'll have a ball game for you at 6 and 8 o'clock. Megan Fote has been sensational this year. I know that You spend a lot of time with the girls' team on the road sometimes and all the rest of it. And we had her in last year too, but Megan Fotes, the women's GLIAC Player of the Week award winner too. She's putting up some crazy numbers, isn't she?
Yeah. Like we said earlier, I'm trying to get up to her. I think she leads the nation 16 rebounds a game. That's pretty impressive. She puts in a lot of work on and off the court, and we know that, and you see the results.
So you look at this crew. This Jason Pretzer guy is a sophomore. He's a big guy. Wash his senior year tried to step out and take a couple threes. Yeah. Pretzer isn't, he's not opposed to stepping outside and trying to hit a long-distance shot as well. But part of what Coach Tharp wants to see as he matures is that willingness to take it inside, to get a little tougher around the painted area, and that's a process, isn't it?
Yeah, he's super skilled. Like you said, he can shoot three, he can handle the ball a little bit, but it's about finding a balance in between because he is 7 foot and taller and bigger than most people as well. So it's about finding a balance because he can very easily score on people in the post as well. So we're trying to work with him on using his versatility inside and outside.
Pritzel doesn't get in the headlines, but the other night we're at Ferris State University. He's drawn this Lehman kid who's their leading scorer, averaged about 17, 18 a game. Kid does not score a field goal in that game. I mean, maybe that doesn't show up in the newspaper, but Pritzel defensively and what he gives you kind of behind the scenes, in addition to the scoring, he's a big part of the team.
Oh, yeah. Brandon's huge, He's I think he leads our team in assists as well. And we know he's one of the best defenders in the GLIAC, and we trust him to guard almost anybody in the league.
If there's somebody on your team that's going to get the guys laughing, that's going to crack a joke, that's really going to get everybody going, who is that on your team this year?
I would say Brandon Pritzel.
Pritz? Yeah. That is not who I would have guessed.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
He seems pretty low-key.
He is, but he's funny. The freshman, Stedman Lowry, he's a pretty funny guy as well. So.
It's a lot of fun, isn't it?
It is.
You guys are joking around all the time, and eventually, apparently, you're going to have a new locker room.
Yeah.
It would have been nice to have that this year. But
yeah, I'll take the court. I'm happy with that.
You're happy with the court. What if, just going back to that for a second, everybody's talking about the floor. I don't think a lot of people think a lot about that, but for you guys, that's your place of employment.
Yeah.
You're out there on that court.
Yeah.
Why is it so different? The surface itself, why is it so much better?
It's a lot more springy underneath. The old floor was kind of like playing on concrete.
Oh.
And it's not good for the knees. I know a lot of guys that now have knee problems who used to play here. So it's just a lot better cushioning you when you're running and jumping and stuff like that.
A couple more inches on the vertical, possibly?
No, not for me, but some guys maybe. I'm not really a high flyer.
My man Tony can get up there once in a while, and Tony's another guy. He's a starter. You guys start 4 seniors, which has got to be a lot of fun. And Tony's battled some injuries over his career as well, but feeling good this year.
He is, and he's a guy who can come out there and knock down. He's knocked down a couple of huge shots in his career this year as well. He had a big one the other night against Saginaw Valley. And like you said, seniors, we know what we have to do, and we're comfortable playing with each other.
So before the game Thursday, all of you listeners planning on coming Thursday, Tim Dezelski will be presented with the game ball, honoring his 1,000th career point. You have scored 1,000 points at the Division II level of college basketball. You're not sitting back resting on your laurels right now, but when you look back at it all and your friendships and your statistics and all of it, these things are all going to add up, won't they?
Yeah, it's not something I really would like to think about right now, but I'm really thankful for this opportunity I've had and all the teammates I've had.
And to get to 1,000 points too, and you said it, and I hadn't really thought about this, but a couple of years off the bench.
Yeah.
And then you weren't always a starter. You got quite a few minutes, even though you were coming off the bench. But
I played, I think, around half the game for my first 2 years.
Second right now in the conference in scoring, 25.3 points per game. He is second in the conference in the GLIAC in rebounding, 9.6 rebounds per game. As you look across the conference, who are some of the teams that you kind of think about? I know they're all big games. There are no easy ones, but do you have a rivalry? Do you feel there's a team that you kind of circle on the calendar?
Finley is definitely one that we've been battling in the South for a while. And then Grand Valley is one because they've been a power for a long time, so it was nice to pick up a win there. And then, like you said, all those games are big as we're coming down the stretch now.
When you're not practicing, when you're not studying, when you're not in class and all the rest of it, what do you do? Do you have any downtime? And if you have any, what do you do?
Me personally, I'm kind of a gamer. I like to play a lot of FIFA and
Xbox One?
Yeah. No, just Xbox 360.
Xbox 360.
Yeah.
In the locker room, you guys, I think, have a PS3, right?
No, we don't have anything in there.
Oh, there's no video game
No,
console.
we just watch TV.
Just watching the games.
Yeah.
So you're an Xbox 360 guy, a little FIFA.
Yeah.
You play online or just with your buddies there?
Online, but also with
How do you
buddies.
do?
Well, with my buddies, I pretty much beat them with everything. Yeah.
Online's a little bit tougher.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Do you ever? Do you ever get any time off? I mean, if you look at a week, a normal week where you've got games Thursday and Saturday?
Yeah.
When are you going to get a break? Is
Sunday is our day of rest.
You don't have any responsibility Sunday.
No.
You don't have to come in for film or anything.
No, just recuperate. Always better to do after 2 victories. Maybe watch some. Might watch some film by ourselves, but nothing as a team. No.
So you've got Sunday off to recoup, and then Monday. What's your schedule usually on Monday?
Just back to practice.
It's like 5 o'clock at night or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Probably 3:30 probably.
Do you guys watch film as a team, or is it something you do on your own?
Both, but after practices, like today and yesterday, we watched film of the team we're playing. We like to get in and watch individual clips, and then we have a online database that we use to watch them too.
How do you stay healthy? I mean, obviously we talked about the diet part of it, but we're knocking on wood. You've been pretty healthy.
Knock on wood there.
we don't want to jinx that, but you've stayed pretty healthy. What's the secret for Tim Dezelski to stay healthy?
We're not really sure. It's just about knowing your body and knowing, sometimes you might need to do an ice bath. Sometimes you gotta go get ice and treatment after practice. It's just about knowing what your body can handle and your limits.
And Lynn and that crew, I mean, the hours that they put in on you guys, it's an important job because you guys want to play. You guys are here to play basketball, and I know those trainers help you do that.
Yeah, we're really thankful for them. And 2 newcomers this year, Peter Benjamin, I think, and Julia. They've been great with us as well.
When you get on the bus after a game, let's say you lose a game on the road like you did early on in the season. When you get on the bus, what's the mood like? Are you able to talk? Does the coach come back and talk to you at your seat? You talk to each other about the game? Do you sit and watch a movie on your computer? What is that bus ride like?
After a loss, it's obviously really somber. Not much talking going on. After we get back, Coach Stark might say a couple words to us, but it's more of just personal reflection time.
Your family, Dee Dee is in contact with me all the time about stuff. Your family is into this.
Yeah, they've been a huge part of my life. Growing up too, my parents are fully supportive in everything I do, and
they come to pretty much all the games.
Yeah, and they're pretty much part of the reason I'm here. They're just a great support system.
They love Charger basketball.
They do.
They want you guys to win.
They do. Really bad.
They really do.
Yep.
I think they want you to win almost as badly as you want to win.
Yeah, but a lot of times I hear my mom and my aunts up there screaming. But, it's great to have them all come and support me and our team.
Hillsdale College, brand new gym, brand new floor, really competitive team, 7 straight wins. We've got the GLIAC Player of the Week here right now. To be chosen as the best player, we'll leave it off with this. I know you're not a big ego guy, but you've won that award 3 straight times, 3 consecutive weeks, the GLIAC Player of the Week. There are a lot of darn good players in this conference. That's at some level, that's got to be a great feeling for you.
It is. It just kind of shows that all the hard work I put in pays off. And we've been winning as well, so that's...
You wouldn't want to, it wouldn't be any fun to win those if you were losing.
They would pretty much be pointless.
Summertime, during your college years, was there a program specific to getting better that you worked on, or how did you work to get better?
Usually every summer I just try and pick 1 or 2 things, shooting, ball handling, stuff, something like that, my post game, and I just try and develop that as the summer goes along. And then we have a great weightlifting program as well that helps you stay strong and get stronger.
Tim, you're a great kid. We're excited about your team. We're excited to have your game tomorrow night, 8 o'clock at Hillsdale College. Tim Dezelski will be honored with a game ball for his 1,000th career point, and the most important thing is that 8th straight win.
Yep, exactly.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to the Time Out Show. We've been brought to you tonight by the Jack Smith Agency, Hillsdale Travel Center, Coach B's Driving School, and by Randy's Auto Body.
Health insurance marketplace.
Will you record a liner for me?